Jesus.
And we are now live on the YouTube.
On the YouTube.
All right. So I'm going to do some sharing.
What are you sharing? Go on and share.
Sharing a link on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, are we there yet? Yeah, we're here. Okay.
Oh, you ain't humming no Negro spiritual.
Me, you child, somebody got to, child.
Got to do.
Somebody.
Gotta do the rock, Kiki. Ooh, ooh. Help me now. Ooh, ooh, yes, Lord. Mm. Sometimes you just gotta hold yourself.
Child. Ooh, jeez. Okay, here we go.
All right.
Here we go. Hey, girl. Hey.
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 We got company today.
Yes, we do. So we got to be on our best behavior.
Yeah, right. That never happens. It's the Hey Girl. It's the Hey Girl, Hey podcast. Shouts to Urban Media today. I'm your radio chick, Kiki Brown.
And I am the chatter chick, LaShawn.
And I'm
the star over here. What's
up? Who is she?
Danielle chick.
Oh, hey. Yes, Miss Cherry.
Call me Ebony today.
Uppity. She's the uppity chick.
She's the uppity Ebony.
Everybody has the uppity chick.
Every got one.
Uppity Ebony.
Come on in the house, uppity.
We have a special guest on the show today. Kim Wood is a good friend of mine. I've known Kim for a few years. She holds an executive position here in Pittsburgh, and she's just, oh my goodness, she could talk about what she does professionally in the last 25 of the show, but she's on the show. She's a friend of the show. She watches the episodes, and I like the fact that she accepted the invite to be on today. Kim is also Asian American. And why that's important today is because this is actually a hot topic across the country where a lot of folks are talking about the recent events that involved the Asian American community. It's something that the Black community knows all too well when it comes to abuse and racism. And just recently, the community in Atlanta suffered a great loss. 8 people died due to a, we say, racist act. Of course, someone said he was just having a bad day, but we'll talk about that. Right. When we wrap up the hot topics, and then we'll talk to Kim about how her family and her community is dealing with everything. So first things first, let's start with Kirk Franklin.
Yes. Come on in the house, Kirk.
Right.
Come on to the front of the pulpit. Kim, this is where we discuss the hot topics, so feel free to chime in. Cousin Kirk Franklin. Carry On Franklin is Kirk Franklin's son. He shared a video, the audio of his dad, Kirk Franklin, who they thought was, they called him Plies at the end when the story, when the story aired. His dad, award-winning gospel artist Kirk Franklin, you all know him. He was calling him out his name. He was like, "I'll choke you, nickel."
He went in.
He definitely went in.
He went in. So Kurt and his wife Tammy were on Tamron Hall's show, and they talked about his son's claims that he is an abusive parent. Kurt also opened up about the challenges that he's had with his son early on. This man is 33 years old.
Yeah, we're not talking about a child.
Right.
And he's being, according to Kirk, he's being disrespectful and more aggressive. He said, "I respect Carry On. I'm not Carry On's equal. I am not his equal. I am his dad." We have all heard this from a parent or a guardian, a grandma, a granddad. I am not your friend. And Kurt also expresses disappointment in himself after exploding and the video being now viral. What are your thoughts on this? Let's have Kim talk about it first, since she's our guest.
Well, I think he's a parent, first, and no parent is perfect. It happens. If this was a child, a 7-year-old, an 8-year-old, I think there would be issues. But we're talking about a 33-year-old grown man who recorded a conversation, a private conversation of, to me, personal family matters. I think the son was wrong. I think dirty laundry was aired that shouldn't have been aired. And it was absolutely, the son was wrong. you know, I've lost my cool as a parent, you know, and said things because sometimes children take it.
They push you there. They do that.
They bring you there,
They do
you know.
it. Yeah.
You know, and like I said, parents, he's human before he's a gospel singer, before, you know, he's human. And sometimes your kids disrespect you and take you there. And definitely, you know, he's wrong. The child, so to speak, as we're talking about the grown man child.
He's a millennial. We have a millennial in the house. We're going to let our woman of a certain age respond last because I know she's got some stuff simmering. And knowing she knows the Lord personally. So we'll have her speak on it. But Jared, what do you think? This guy's 33 years old.
Yeah.
I mean,
so I heard about the story, and I've been trying to, you know, get to the audio, but I most recently listened to it today. And I have a few things, and I'm going to play devil's advocate. You know, I am.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, I agree. He's a 33-year-old grown man. This is obviously issues that Kirk had said in one of the videos that has been going on since he was a child. So this is a serious family matter. He is a human before he is, you know, a gospel singer, a celebrity, an artist, and he's a parent. And you know, kids take us there, you know what I mean? You know, they take them there, you know, rather. And I understand, I get it, you know what I mean? I think maybe the son wanted to exploit him just to be like, hey, this is Kirk Franklin, the gospel you guys love so much. He's talking bad to me. He's cussing me out of my name. And like you had said, if he was a 6-year-old child, 7-year-old, then it would be like, you know what I mean?
Right.
But I think the grown boy was trying to, you know, be a little bit, you know, mean about it. And he did say, oh, why don't you shut the F up? Like, you know, I wouldn't even talk to my parent that way. You know what I mean? Like, that's just very disrespectful. In the same breath, I had came across like reading like tweets and stuff like that. And I think what happens in the Black community a lot is that it is supposed to be okay to talk to your children that way. And I think that's where a lot of trauma and stuff happens, and a lot of aggression towards Black men in particular have in relationship towards women in general. So I think maybe how he had said it came off wrong. You know, maybe he shouldn't have been so aggressive. And, you know, and I think the son, he probably sounds like he has like some mental issues, obviously, and it probably rubbed him the wrong way. No, you know, that's your son. You're going to do what you want to do. But I think maybe the way it came off was a bit aggressive. Now, prior to, we don't know what happened before. And like Kirk had said, he called the therapist or something like that and was trying to calm him down, was trying to talk to him, and the son didn't air that off. So we don't know what happened beforehand. We just know what happened during and aftermath. So those are my 2 cents on it. You know, he's going to do what the parent, you know what I mean? But maybe it just came off a little too strong. And I think that's where, like I said, you know, trauma hits Black men and they think it's okay to show that aggression. But, you know.
Okay.
Well, all right,
Shannon
Jerry.
Chick.
She
didn't put him in the loony bench and said he was crazy.
Hello. I agree with everything that you two have said, all of it. But I'm going to piggyback on this because the one part you said, you know, with black families, how they talk to their kids. And then, but we make a joke about how white kids talk to their parents, how they cuss them out. They be like, damn it, Dad. And then they'd be like, okay, Johnny, be quiet.
Yeah.
That's not funny. You know what I mean? So if a Black parent goes at their child for talking bad to them and using, you know, cursing, oh, they're bad, they're aggressive. But we make comments and joke. Comedians said forever, like how white kids are, you know, cussing at their parents and their parents like, okay, Johnny. That's not cool. It's not cool either way. So, you know, when you said our kids take us there, but when it's a child, when they take us there, we know when to stop. We go there, but then we're like, okay, stop.
We pull back.
But when a grown man, someone you done raised, you've been going to therapy with, and you've been doing all this, and then they call you out and say you haven't done this for them or you're not doing this, that's going to take you there. And then they cuss you out. Anybody grown that cusses me out, heaven forbid. I know the Lord, like you said, I know the Lord. I know him personally. We talk all the time. You know, that's one where you got to pull back and say, hey, Lord, forgive me, or calm me down, or shut me up, or kill me right now, because it's about to go down. Yeah, because it's one of those things. It's about to go down. And with that young man forgotten, Kirk said this: I am not his equal. I'm his dad. He lost all respect for him. And we only heard one side of that story.
Right.
We didn't hear what he put to put family business out there when you're going to counseling. Family business is family business. That's personal.
You know, a lot of celebrity kids do that, though. Remember Alec Baldwin got into it with his daughter. A lot of celebrity kids do that because, you know, I'm assuming because they're privileged and they're spoiled and they've been allowed to do this for so long. And so it's like, you know, and even though he's 33, he's still his son and he is a celebrity. And so it's like, you know, no telling what they argued about, like you said. Yeah.
Yeah, we see what happened to privileged people. For privileged groups of people, they think that they can do and say what they want to say, and no one is going to get hurt or suffer any, or they're not going to suffer any repercussions for what they have done. That happens to the privileged segment. So this, and you know, with privileged kids, they're thinking, oh, yeah, I'm going to let them know how my dad really is. I'm going to let them know how my mom really is, you know, not really is, but whenever somebody bucks against privileged people, they come back, their attack is totally different. It's to cut you really bad.
Right.
So yeah, with Kirk Franklin, I was like, all right, you know, I was cool. I don't know if that's the proper thing to say, because you know, right now we're on social media. Some people will come against what I said or attack, but you know, my feeling right now, I get it. I understand it. I don't know about his approach and attempt, but it doesn't surprise me. It's just that what surprised me is that his son recorded and we heard it.
I remember
I heard cursing before. I know what that is. I've done it.
They just a couple of N words on that.
Yeah.
He went in on that one.
Yeah.
I remember Bill Cosby talking about how when he grew up, he thought his name was Goddammit.
Yeah.
You know. You know, and I mean, that was a way, and I'm not making an excuse because, like you said, Jerry, a lot of this, you know, brought forth a lot of trauma. But that it was something that we grew up. My aunt, oh my gosh, she can't help but drop an F-bomb, you know, when she's talking to her kids. And it was so much, and it was so much that it was just like, well, who's she talking to? She's talking to you. She said, "A-hole, that's you." You know,
you the a-hole. You know what I mean?
And it happens. It doesn't make it right. It does not make it right. And one thing that really, really makes it wrong, and I'll piggyback on all three. You don't publicly put your parents out there, regardless on how wrong you think they are. They are your parents. You only have one mom and one dad, and that's just not. Yeah, that's just not something that you do. And then he cut them checks off.
That's probably what it was.
See what happened when you get that, you know, put the Popeyes application in, your last name Franklin. They know your name. You better change your name. Speaking of knowing names, first Karen, now Sharon. We talk about Sharon Osbourne.
She's a mess too.
Fans are very upset about the recent outburst led by talk show host, the Talk co-host, Sharon Osbourne, who kind of went on the defense on one of her co-hosts and my so sweet soror, Sharon Underwood. She sat down with Kevin Frazier from Entertainment Tonight. She was very upset, not at her co-host or at Sharon Underwood, but she felt like she was set up because the producers went to her and asked her, did she want to comment on the Pierce Morgan situation? She said, sure. And then she said, a producer came up to her and said, well, what happened? You know, maybe one of your co-hosts disagree. And she was like, okay. And earlier on, they had made a pact that they weren't going to surprise each other with uncomfortable questions. They had talked about race before, and Carrie, she started crying about the question that she had asked an African-American co-host, and she felt like, damn, I felt set up. So they had agreed not to do that. This according to Sharon in her interview with Kevin Frazier. So she thought when that question was brought up, and when Cheryl said something to her, she thought she was being set up, and that's what brought forth her anger. And she knew that she was wrong, and she had since apologized to Cheryl in private. She said Cheryl has not returned her phone calls. But you know, all this because Meghan Markle didn't want to talk to Piers Morgan.
Well, he's
she ghosted
said
him. That's
something
why
against her.
All this happened. Yeah.
He's had something against her for a while.
And she and Sharon protected him or something, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
He belittled Meghan's feelings. She said that she felt suicidal, and he was like, "Oh my goodness, those are her feelings. That's her truth."
Mm-hmm.
And so, and then Sharon comes out, "Well, we protect our queen."
Mm-hmm.
It's not a good look whenever the only Black woman in that house says that she has some issues, and then you say, "We protect the queen as a woman." Surely you know, and you know how any woman feels, how you feel like an outsider sometimes. And when someone says they're suffering from suicidal thoughts,
and
your first thing is to say, "We protect our queen, we protect our family." Is this woman not part of the family?
No, apparently not.
Apparently not.
Apparently
and your
not.
friend puts it out there that, he doesn't like her and all this other stuff. And then you defend that instead of defending this woman who's going through. And then when Cheryl tried to explain things to her, if Sharon, if this was something that she felt sidetracked or she got hit with, you wouldn't have said when they went to break, no, you're still ranting about it and dropping F-bombs. And saying, "Cheryl, you have no right to cry."
Yeah, she did say she was wrong to dismiss her emotion, but it's kind of late.
It's late. And you knew what you were saying, and you knew how your feelings were going. And we really have to watch, since we're on social media and the things that we say. And since she keeps professing the fact that she's a professional, she should have known as a professional to watch what she says and how she says it to the other person, especially another woman of color who's just trying to explain to her. And Cheryl was explaining things to her in love about the situation. She was,
as a finer woman should.
Oh yes. And then as a heated woman, it was heated, so she should have approached her a different way. She wasn't saying anything against her. She told her, "Stop that crying." Who does that?
Like the child or something. Like, don't do that.
You saw Cheryl's face. She was like, "You know what?
Yeah.
I won't say nothing.
Your friend,
I got bills. I got bills."
Yeah, I don't entertain that bull crap. And she knew it. But she's one of those privileged people. And so, her platform, the television is her platform, but she just used it the wrong way.
You know what? I'm glad you said that
in the past.
And Jerry and Kim, maybe you could chime in on this too, because Amanda Seals, she shared her 2 cents. Yeah, Jerry is the president of her fan club. She was like petered and appalled. She was pissed about the fact that I guess she was more angry at Kevin Frazier because he had tagged her and a couple of other people in the post, and she was saying that it should not be the responsibility of the African American community to teach the white community not to be racist against the African American community or any community. It's 2021. You know right from wrong. Should no one be teaching you? And Kim, we're going to talk about a situation that happened to you today.
Kim's like, come on.
So,
on that one. Yeah, no,
go
but
ahead. Go ahead.
No, I mean, no, we can wait. I'm just saying, you're just hitting the button that that was like, hey, yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, do you agree that it shouldn't be? Where should this come from? Where should naive white folks know?
Educating themselves?
But how? When all the books are based on their history and not our history.
Strangely enough, I had a friend of mine in conversation, white woman. Basically, she kind of said that she wanted to she went and got some books to educate her on Asian history, on Black history, on all the racism that's going on in America right now. And she wanted to get the information. You know, when she told me this, I was just like, thank you. You know, I appreciated it. But she said, no, you don't have to thank me. She said she wanted to educate herself to make sure she wasn't part of the problem. And that if she, you know, and to move it forward to make sure her children aren't part of the problem. And, you know, I applaud that because white people don't understand it. They don't live it. They don't experience it, but they can change it. You know, they can change the way other white people perceive it. One of the things I said was, that's a great thing, because I never viewed her as somebody who carried racism in her heart. Or anger or hate or any of that. But the difference she can make is the white person standing next to her when I try to describe it to her, or you try to explain it to her. The words uber sensitive, you know, over the whole racial thing, you know, America's become so sensitive, uber sensitive, usually is one of the first things that I find comes out of their mouths. But when it's another white person telling another white person, wait a minute, this is racist. This is why it's not okay. You know, put yourself in the shoes. If it were this, and, you know, maybe it will help, even if it's only one person, you know, one person at a time, you know, I appreciated it. And I was actually proud to call her my friend. You know, I was happy with her, you know,
Jerry,
excited.
Last 4 minutes. Go ahead.
Yeah, I agree. Everything what Amanda was saying, and something that stuck out to me was she was like, why is it that the Black man has to pull out the coattail for the white woman to walk on, you know, to make it seem like it's okay, you know, oh, like we're all going to be friends again. Like, oh, I understand. Like, no, it's not okay. You know what I mean? I feel like they set him up, to be honest, you know, like Kevin Frazier. And I'm just like, do you not see the whole, you know, picture? I understand like his job as a journalist, you know, but then again, like, you're a Black man, you should understand this, but then sometimes they don't either. But as far as like, you know, white people, how can they, you know, learn or whatever? I guess you can start from books, you know, if they're really interested. And you know, it'd be good to befriend, you know, a Black person who has, you know, who went through these traumas and these situations, so that they can get a somewhat of an understanding, you know, as well. I say that because growing up, you know, I went to a predominantly white school in middle school. And, you know, I had a white friend whose mother, you know, obviously was white and, you know, Black, white in, you know, in the Black community, but she understood a lot about Black problems because she was living in the community. She had, you know, Black friends and things like that. And she was raising her children to not be like how, you know, her grandparents was and her, you know, people before then. So I think it's, you know, good to, you know, get close to someone who, you know, of, you know, African American race, that, you know, we can educate them too, you know, even though it shouldn't be our jobs, you know, it shouldn't be. Some of this should be common sense, but not everyone has common sense either. So you know, but it's, you have to want to learn too, and like you said, they have to
be open to it.
Be open to it.
Right.
A lot of these people are so stubborn and stuck in their ways. And some of these people still can't see what Trump did wrong, you know, when he was in office 4 years, you know what I'm saying? So you have, it starts with them first. They have to want to. So.
Well, you have to see if it's wrong, where you're wrong. You have to see that, you know, they want so many receipts, they meaning those who feel that nothing is wrong. They have to see, you have to prove to them that what they're doing and their actions that they take are absolutely wrong. And so even with proof, they're like, it's not enough. So regardless of what you do, they're going to believe in what they're going to want to believe what they want to believe. And so as long as we continue to educate our children, educate our community, and educate ourselves, I think that we'll be a lot closer to somewhat of a normalcy when it comes to healing from all this. This has been decades. Racism has, oh my gosh. I don't know. My kids' kids may finally see the light. you know. So we're going to take a quick break. We're here with Kim Wood. She is Asian American, if you haven't noticed. Right? Isn't that's just not something you say. It's just not something you look.
Some
what
people
is you?
don't though. You'll be surprised.
What is you? What is you?
Yeah,
what is you?
What you got mixed with?
What you got mixed with? Oh God, we're gonna talk about all the dumb questions, all the cliches, and most recently all the situations that happened as it involved or as it has to do with her community, the Asian American community and the Asian community. But first, we're gonna take a quick break and then get a juice box because we got some juicy fan mail. Kim, I don't know if you're ready for this one. I don't know.
Here we go. Get ready.
I'm listening.
We're gonna take a quick break. It's the Hey Girl Hey podcast on Urban Media Today. Hold on. Hey Girl Hey. It is the Hey Girl Hey podcast on Urban Media Today. Kim Wood joins us. We're going to talk to her in just a minute, but I want to know what she thinks about this fan mail. Get ready to clutch your pearls, ladies.
Clutch your pearls.
Who said calling a woman a bee is sexy? I know some like it hot and heavy in bed, but I feel some kind of way when it comes to calling a woman a bee while having sex. I was intimate with a man who thought it was cute to call me out my name while having sex. I may have overreacted, but I despise the word from anyone. He said I was out of line, and that is what you say in the heat of passion. She says in all caps, my ass. I can see getting kinky and even dangerous, but that's a no-no. Am I the only woman who feels this way? Somebody go.
Well, you could go first. No, that's fine.
I'm just listening.
That would make me feel uncomfortable. You know, it wouldn't even feel sexy to me. I would feel like I'm in a bad situation. Like, you calling me a bitch? Like, I don't. That's, you know, I get it. You're in the heat of the moment, but it could have been anything else but that. You know, so I can see where she was a bit uncomfortable. It would make me uncomfortable. There's just. Yeah. You know, I think people get too much into character. People watch porn too much and they try to bring it into the bedroom. And, you know, it doesn't. No, I would have just lost my appetite to sex that time. You know, I wouldn't have wanted. That's it. It wasn't cool. No.
Shoot, calling me that is just like calling me another woman's name. It's about to go down. It's about to go down. Like, you say that, you what? No.
Mood changer. Definite mood changer.
Yeah, it'll stop. I mean, kill the vibe, kill the buzz, everything. And then after that, I'm about to go up in your mouth with my fist. Like, you're going to be leaving there like, oh my goodness, she just bust out my tooth. Because, that's not cute. It's not cute. I can't even think of like how heated it could get for you to say that. But I think with people with that name, people use it so much that it's worn out. You know, doesn't really serve a purpose. Because I watched this TV show last night. You ever watch Sisters? I'm not, giving a plug out, but there's this guy on this show called Sisters, and he goes, B, B this, B that. I mean, that's all he says. And it was so sickening just watching the show, because I was like, well, he just stopped saying that. It's on regular.
Somebody has to tell him not to do that. You know what I'm saying? You gotta let people know.
He was portraying a gay character, and so it was supposed to be one of those things. I guess it's stereotype that gay guys say, well, B, come on, B.
The ones that I know do.
Yeah, he did it 1,000 times, and I was just like, this is too much. But in the bedroom, you call me that, it's about to go down, but not in a good way. Not in a good way.
Kim, what you got?
I just want to know.
She said not in a good way.
How well did they know each other? Like, wouldn't he have known? Because, like, mine would know that's not okay. So, like, that's the first question is, how well did you know him?
How well enough to drop them draws.
How well did he know? Well, come on, we're being realistic now.
I forgot. I forgot.
Some folks don't need to know you that well.
We don't got to know you that well. I forgot. I forgot.
So my first question is, I mean, for me, absolutely not. But for her, like, honey, how well did you know him to know he would not, or, or
but are we saying this because we're older?
No.
Now, we don't know how. Yeah, but you're not 20 something.
I'm 20 something.
Me too.
Okay.
I'm 20 something.
But you're closer to, come on, Jerry, stop it. You're closer to 30. You're not 21, 22.
I'm probably the oldest one here.
No,
probably.
That would be
no. LaShawn is.
I'm a woman of a certain age.
She's a woman of a certain age. I don't know. I just think I get the heat of the moment thing.
You would have to ask a young person.
I understand that the heat of the moment thing, because there are women who call men, come on, N-word, you big D or little hairy butt, whatever.
What
the heck?
I don't know. I
don't know. I mean, I guess if that shit
gets him off.
with that particular writer, that's not her love language. But for some people, that might be their love language. That could be the word.
That's sex.
How well did they know each other?
Yeah.
You would think you would know each other's love language.
Exactly.
There.
She
That's what I was trying to say.
She felt some kind of way about that. So obviously when she wrote the letter, she was like, what? That's just something I don't like. But to some chicks, that's their love. Like, come on, daddy. Like, daddy is a word for me right there. I do not like calling a dude that's not my daddy. I don't think that's cute.
No.
That's gross.
That's
so gross.
And especially not during love making. Like, come on, daddy. I'm like, whoa.
That's incestuous.
Turn on the lights. Turn on the lights here. I got to. Whoa, no.
No, thank you.
Daddy. Oh no. So
I can see LaShawn now. She'd be like, let me holler at you.
Let me holler at you. You call me daddy again.
Let me holler at you. Call me.
Let me call you daddy.
Call me the B word again. Call me the B word again and see if I don't.
See if I don't go through your mouth. See if I don't go through your mouth. I'd be so close to him. He'd be like,
Kim,
whoa.
This is what we do when we need you to pay close attention. You'd be like, let me
get a little closer.
Get real close. Let me holler at you real quick. This what you not. Let me. You got. This is what you not going to do. This is what you not going to do.
Not what you finna not going to do.
What you fitting or not. What you fitting or not. Okay. What you fitting or not going to do.
Okay.
It's a short one. I've kind of.
Yeah, I appreciate her, but if she's gonna get with him again, if it bothered her now, she got to have the conversation before it goes down again.
Yeah.
Don't do it again with him.
People like the choking. They like the role playing. They like all the other stuff, and maybe they're getting it all from reality TV and porn.
If that's what you like, it's all about a conversation. Like, talk about it.
Do you think that she overreacted?
No.
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
It's not what you. Okay. Yeah, if you're sending a letter and then at the end you're putting caps on the word ass, you mad. You mad.
A bit angry.
You mad.
She a little upset.
You look
upset. All right, well, that went well. That went fine. So we'll just get into we'll talk to Kim now. Because this is a pretty long discussion, and maybe 25 minutes is not enough. So we'll get into it now. We have a Hey Girl Spotlight, Kim Wood, who is Asian American. She's my good girlfriend, and her family is from where? Where's your family from?
We're Vietnam.
From Vietnam. She tells us stories about her mom and her dad, and she brought food to work, and she showed us how Vietnamese food, and she talked to us about the wedding ceremonies, and you just get to know tradition. I didn't know anything. Earlier, I had posted a question about asking how many Asian friends or Asian American friends do you have? And there were people who said several. There were people who said one. I said three. And that's only because I forgot I worked with a young lady who I did not know was Asian American. And there were people who said I have 30. And you can ask how many Black friends you have, how many white friends you have, that number will be different.
And
it's like, why?
Yeah.
Why are we just now noticing this community, or why are we just now noticing with your community, Kim? I'm not going to talk like you're not here, but what your community goes through. Just recently in Atlanta, 8 people were killed after a gunman went on a rampage, shooting up 3 spas in Atlanta. The man has been caught and charged with 8 counts of murder. 6 victims were of Asian descent. Asian Americans have been targeted, nearly 3,800 hate incidents this past year. A sheriff's deputy we mentioned earlier facing criticism for saying that the suspect was just having a bad day.
Everyone.
Okay.
Okay.
The hashtag Stop Asian Hate is now viral, and on social media it's now trending. And AAPI, Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders, has been formed. It was actually formed since March of last year to prevent discrimination during the coronavirus pandemic. This according to the New York Times. And then activists and elected officials claim that these attacks were fueled in the early pandemic by former President Donald Trump, who frequently, quote, frequently used racist language to refer to the coronavirus, end quote, according to New York Times. He, the suspect, says this was not a hate crime.
Of course he's going to say that.
Yeah, so Kim, being our guest, what was your response to the news, what happened in Atlanta, how your family, well, first off, how are you?
Oh, I'm great. I'm good. I'm good. Scared. I don't want to say walking around scared. More worried about my family's huge. My mother's one of 10. So, when we get together and there's a family get together, I think last we counted 67 grandchildren. And since then, many more have been born. So my family's big. I worry about my older aunties. I worry about my uncles. When they talk about targeting, they went into the Asian massage parlors. So, a lot of my family were the stereotypical, we own a lot of nail salons. A lot of my family are in the business. So, I guess if somebody wanted to target Asian women or Asian people, that's where they could go. I'm sad, I saw a woman in San Francisco. She was standing on a corner, 76 years old, and a man walked up to her and just punched her dead in the face. She fought back, picked up a stick, and, she whooped his tail. He was on a stretcher, being taken to the hospital. But, I worry about my mother. I worry about my aunts, because it seems as though these people that are going out and attacking are picking old people, senior citizens, women. They're not walking up to a gang of my cousins who are in their 20s, and I'll go to the gym and saying, hey, let's pick up, they're not picking a fight with them. No. So, they're a bunch of punks, really, is what it comes down to. But it's no different. It's always been there. The racism. I went to a predominantly white high school. I used to ride the bus at my school, and I was Vietnamese, so they didn't call me a chink, but they would chant Viet on the bus daily, to and from. Bus drivers never stopped it. I didn't really tell anybody about it. It just got into a couple of fist fights after when I got off the bus. That's just how we dealt with it back then. But it's there. I share a lot of stories, with everything that was going on through the Black Lives Matters, and just all the racism that's going on. I don't blame Trump for the racists. I blame him for allowing the racists to giving them a voice. Yeah. It's like he started the rhetoric, and the rest of the country that already felt that way. I don't think he made a person who's not racist a racist. But I think the people that already had that hate in them, and that anger, that ugly in them, I think he made it okay for them to wear it proudly on their shoulder and say, I hate, I'm white and I hate the rest of America that's not, so I don't want to say I blame him, but I blame him, in part. Yeah. He has a hand in it. He definitely has a hand in it.
Yeah.
LaShawn, did you want to comment?
This is
I know you have things to talk about when it comes to the orange guy.
Yeah. I sometimes I don't like to really mention his name, but this is a lot to unpack because racism has been going on forever,
Right.
since the beginning of time. And then, now we're seeing so much of it on television when before it was stuff, it happened, but it was never filmed.
Right.
I mean, people have been oppressed for so long that, this is nothing new to get you get your butt kicked by somebody because you're a certain color. This has been happening for so long. And then, okay, so it happens, there's Black Lives Matter. It did negate the fact that Asian Americans and everybody else and, was getting beat up too. So this is a big thing. And now we're all coming together to fight it together, which should have been the stand all along. We all should have standing. I think what people were just trying to fight against was the wording of everything. Because when we would say Black Lives Matter, they would say all lives matter too. We all understand that, but the fact is that some people didn't understand Black Lives Matter.
Right.
They didn't understand where it came from, why it started. They didn't.
What was the heart of that?
They didn't understand where it came from or why it started.
Right. So now there's an understanding, and we're seeing all this happen. We got to get to the understanding now. All lives freaking matter. Mm-hmm. Everybody matter, because now we're seeing this is on film. When you see on film, young guys hitting a 70-year-old woman. I mean, not cold clocking her. Come on, just walking them. She's not doing anything. Right. I mean, this is ridiculous.
I think it's just a lack of respect for life, for human life.
It is. And you're going into places where you think this group is there and you're going to go shoot them. Like, going into the massage parlor, because she's going there, and they said that he didn't go there targeting these ladies. He knew them personally because he went to this place. He had gone there.
He had a sexual fetish or some type of sexual fantasy, but he told the police that he was going to California or something, or Florida. Like he was going to go to Florida, I believe, to do it again. It's like,
wow. And he told them that. My thing is that
it's mental illness.
That's the problem. I'm just like, how many bad days do we have on the daily? You don't see me going into malls and shooting up people. You don't see me going, terrorizing people. Everyone has a bad day. Boo-hoo, move on. There was no reason, none at all. And to me, it's like, if he was a Black man, he wouldn't have been walking out of there, period. He would have been out up dead. The minute they seen him. We can't walk outside with a cell phone in our hand before we get killed, let alone a whole gun, a rifle. That part, that it was giving him the okie doke. He had a bad day. He's gonna shoot us some people. You know what I mean? Like that really
like that all the time. When minorities get killed, it gets swept underneath the rug. They're having a bad day. When a cop puts his knee on somebody's neck, it's because he was moving, or they shoot somebody because I saw he was going to get a gun. It's not a bad day. It's not a gun. You had it in your mind what you were going to do. You make up excuses for that bad behavior. But but if a Black man or Asian man shoots somebody else, if not of their own color, it's one of those things where he went after that cop, or he went after that white man, or he did this. It changes the narrative. And that's what we need to stop. You can't sweep it underneath the rug. That this man, he went in there to get them. There's people who attack Black people. They attack Asian Americans. They do this. This is what they do.
Yeah.
We can't keep sweeping underneath the rug as a bad day. Let's call it what it is. That's what it is.
Bad day. Is that why they went up? You know what I'm saying? Like, just they give them
bad days don't make you a racist. Everybody has a bad damn day.
Right.
Don't make you a racist.
I think that it's fair to say that we definitely have an issue with. I hate using this. I hate this word. This word is such a nasty word. White supremacy.
Yeah.
It's bad to even say.
It's so uncomfortable.
It is.
It's so uncomfortable. Where we have a race that feels that they are superior and will do anything to keep that title of superiority in this country, whether it's lynching,
So bad.
Calling police when you see someone walking down the street, hitting an elderly Asian man or woman for nothing because it's, for shits and giggles, because it's just something that's funny. It's something that you can, we watch on YouTube or, on TV, to attacking the Capitol. And there are people who have still not been arrested.
Right.
We have to stop, like you said, making excuses for this group of assailants, this group of terrorists.
They're the real terrorists.
Who are raising other terrorists, in my opinion, because I believe that their children and their tribes who see them act on this feel that this is the right way to go. And if we don't nip it in the bud right now, I don't expect Biden or Kamala to do anything about it. I believe as a community, we need to do something about it politically and within our own community. We need to do something about it, teaching it, correcting it when it's wrong, demanding the justice, and following it up. I don't think that the protests or the marches should stop. Don't stop just because somebody got a settlement. Don't stop because there hasn't been any news stories. These things need to stop. I mean, it needs to stop. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to continue with Kim Wood. There's more questions we have to ask her. It's the Hey Girl Hey podcast on Urban Media Today. Hold on. All right. It's the Hey Girl Hey podcast on Urban Media Today. Make sure you check out Urban Media Today Radio. 24/7, your favorite hip hop and R&B, classic hip hop and R&B. If you want to listen to some soulful music, some gospel music, some jazz music, and sometimes a little bit cussing. This is cool because we grown.
Little bit of cussing.
We grown folk. Download the Live 365 or the TuneIn app. You can check it out. Just set it as your favorite Urban Media Today Radio. Make sure you check that out. Okay. This is the Hey Girl Hey podcast. We have special guest Kim Wood. She's joining us today, and we're getting into deep discussion about the recent events that has affected her community as an Asian American woman, as an Asian American. Her family's from Vietnam. And we talked earlier about the situation that happened in Atlanta where 8 lives were lost due to a gunman because he was just having a bad day. Okay.
That floors me.
Right. And so we talked about that, and we talked about how this affected Kim's family. You said you have experienced racism and hate before, but during the pandemic, have you, because you work in the public.
Yeah, I also bartend. So
she's an amazing bartender, by the way.
Good to know. I'm gonna holler at you later.
Come see me.
All right.
People say to me, sometimes when you see me, you don't know what I am. I'm Vietnamese and American. And so they think they can say things. People would call it the China virus to me. And I'm looking at them like, really? China virus, the coronavirus, the Kung Fu virus, they've blamed it. The Kung flu, they've blamed it on Asian people in general. It's their fault it's here. I overhear the conversations. Unfortunately, the position I'm in most of the time, I can't really say anything about it. I can't really correct them, but I'll say things like, you mean the coronavirus? And they're like, yeah, whatever, but I think that the more recent crime that's going, or hate crime that's going on with the Asian community, is simply because of what's going on with the pandemic, with the virus. It's always been there, but I think it's more upfront and more directed to them right now, just because of our president, ex-president Trump, would say that it was a China disease, China virus. They brought it here. It was their fault.
Wow.
And so many people believe everything that man said anyway. So why wouldn't they believe that? Why wouldn't they?
The next step for this is because they're trying to kind of belittle the situation. It's gonna, and it always happens whenever a certain group is being attacked. They're gonna make the two groups attack each other. Now things are going to change. Things are going to go where it's going to be like Black people against Asian Americans. It
Yes.
takes the light off of them.
Yes.
That's the next. This it's the next step. It's the way it falls. It's the way things are. The comments that are made. That's going to be made by some white people, and it's going to cause other people of color to fight against each other.
We as a whole, when I say we, I'm going to say everybody of color. If we really came together, white supremacists, and because I'm going to even include white people in the group of some
Right.
of the minorities, because there's a lot of white people out there that don't think like that.
That's
If we
right.
all came together
Yes, there
and
is.
stopped allowing the white supremacists to divide us and
Right.
separate us, they would lose. I mean, we would come full force, but it right now, it gives them power to keep us all in our boxes, to keep us all separated. And what we've got to learn is it's not just Asians, it's not just Blacks, it's not just, it's Indians, it's Middle Easterns. They had their time with it. I hear people say things about it. And then if we circle even back to the conversation of should we educate them? Is it our responsibility? Yes.
Absolutely.
Is it nice to see them take initiative and want to learn themselves? Yes. Right. But to me, the reason why they want to learn is probably because they've met somebody in their life of color, and that person has made them realize, wait a minute, this ain't cool, this ain't right. My dad thought like this, my mother thought like this, but I met her, or I met that Black woman, or I met that Asian man, or I met that, and they're not like that. They're nice people, they're good people. And if we can come together as a whole, not just as, when we say community, I don't mean just the Black community, the Asian community, the everyone of minority. If we can come together as one, the power that we would have in numbers would be unbelievable. It would just be unbelievable.
It's all about the conversation. Have the conversation. And then, when people say, oh, forgive me, it's not about the forgiveness. Forgiveness is great and it's fine and we need to have it. But it's about atonement for what you have done. It's about the changing of your mind and turning it around and doing the right thing. I appreciate when someone says forgive me and change around. It's the atonement. You have to change your thought and move in a better direction.
They have to want to understand. And sometimes offensive questions may come across the board.
Be ready.
From other white folks. And instead of taking it, I've learned, instead of being offended by the question, this is my time to share with them my experience, what I've gone through. I'm not, I'm Vietnamese, but my children are they're Black. I mean, when people look at them, they see Black women. So, I kind of see it in all different ways, and it's coming from all different angles. And at the end of the day, if we don't educate and explain and have those difficult conversations, even when it's hard for us to hear,
right?
Even when it's hard we've got to learn to be less defensive sometimes and kind of just take a deep breath and say, you know what? I'm going to teach you something today. I'm going to share something with you. And if we could do that, we might be able to find more love for each other, more understanding, more compassion.
Absolutely.
And empathy. That's what's missing. Because a lot of times, even though white people aren't racists, they don't go through it, they don't experience, or they don't live in an area where they're in touch with Black people every day. Right. So, and so if they only have one Black friend, it's because they really only have one Black friend. But sometimes I've actually had conversations with them when they've said, you mean that racism is still there? That really happened to your daughter? When I was telling them about my daughter spending the night at a white family's house, and the little girl, when they came home, my daughter telling me that the little girl said to them, make sure you don't tell my dad you're Black, because he won't like it if we have a Black person in our house. God. Of course, my child never went back to that house again. But but again, that little girl had no problem with my daughter being Black. She wanted to be her friend.
She did.
Right.
You understand? As
Great.
crazy as all that in that, there was still a little girl who came from parents who were teaching her hate, but she was saying, I like you anyway.
Right.
You know what I mean? It came out crazy, you know, especially when your child comes home after you've and I knew the mother. I went to high school with the mother. So, you know, I thought it was okay and safe for her to go there. But, you know, if we can teach one person at a time, maybe the next person can learn, and the next, you know,
Right.
I'm hopeful. As just as much hate as I've seen, I'm going to be honest, I've also seen some people have surprised me. That's all.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, do you think that the government is doing enough towards these acts of hate?
No.
Not just towards the Asian community or Asian American community, but also Black.
They never have.
And Native Americans, they're not.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope. They never have.
When you have a court case like the Floyd court case where they're trying to find jurors to go to be on the jury duty, and what's turning them is that the family got money for that case. Yeah. That should not turn you. That you should like it's okay because they got paid. So let's not prosecute. Yeah. Let's not put the officer in jail because they got money. Yeah. That tells you we have a lot of learning to do. A lot to be educated, because what does money have to do with the fact that this man took this person's life?
Murdered somebody in cold blood.
He murdered him. All because his family was given a check, which is nothing compared to bringing his life back. You're going to say, well, it's settled. We don't settle things with money. We don't have that luxury. We don't. We go to jail for dumber things. But not saying that's dumb, but we go to jail for like stupid stuff. But this man took somebody's life, and you're gonna say a check negates that?
Check should do.
Let's let it be done.
Honey, you know, just like they did the
I'm
same
over it.
Taylor, you know.
We even have that in our community. I mean, the issue is not as serious as this one that we're talking about. But when there was a situation that happened a few years back here in Pittsburgh, where a young Black woman was at a pizza parlor and she got assaulted, or she was got into a scuffle with the owner of the pizza parlor, and the person was, I don't know if he was Italian or if he was Pakistani, I'm not sure, but you know, folks took to the streets and they protested, and you know, and then there was a check, and it was quiet.
That was it.
Yeah. But you know,
these can't happen. We need to stop. No, like that can't even happen. Right. Because, and I can't speak because I'm not a family that, you know, maybe the family needs the money. I'm not sure. But it's just like, no, you need to be convicted.
Yeah.
Before you get paid.
But
like, you know what I'm saying? But again, I can't. Huh?
Do you think it's people in the court of law that are telling these families you're not going to win, so they give up?
Oh yeah.
Probably.
No, you know, the
probably, especially if you're a family that's not familiar with the legal system.
Right.
If you're a family that's the attorney
with money, if you don't have the attorney representing you with money, you know, at the end of the day, they're saying, you know, it's not even worth it. Right. You know,
I've seen public defenders walk in court and say, yeah, go ahead, take the plea. You know, we'll be this is going to be done, and okay, let's be out of here, because they're like, you're on their top, you're free, dude, and they'll say, come on, you're going to take the plea. It's something. You only get 60 days. Like 60 days is nothing. 60 days is in jail,
and then
you know, and I got a record,
and you can't get a job after that,
right?
So, you know, it follows you.
They try to, you know, give you a little tap, like, oh, it's going to be okay. Just take it.
I mean, you have the gentleman
where they got to be.
Who shot and killed someone during the Black Lives Matter protest, young white boy who was, you know, he's still alive. I think he's
walking
out right
through with
now.
a rifle.
Walking through with the rifle. And then you have the young white man who went through the church in Charlotte. What is it? South Carolina?
Yeah, South Carolina. Charleston.
South Carolina. Charleston, I'm sorry. And he's still living.
Took him to Burger King after he did
took him to Ghana.
He was hungry.
There's something needs to change. It needs to change. Kim, I want to ask you this: if you could address a community of members who don't know but want to know. What do you want them to know? Who don't know that what they're doing or how they're behaving is out of pocket. Like the Sharon Osbourne. Those who are doing things and saying things and acting. Okay. That you're right.
I'm not
like some of the Karens.
How would you tell them? What would you yeah. How would you tell Sharon and Karen?
We're not all the same. The Asian community, though, we're all under one. There's China, there's Vietnam, there's Japan. You know, we all have a little bit of a difference in our background. We all look different. You know, those are little things that a lot of people don't realize and don't know. I don't know what exactly. What else? What do you mean? What else do you want to know? You know,
that's the thing. That's the what you know. What some of the stupid questions that you get.
Stop calling us Oriental.
That's a rug.
That is a rug.
It's a rug.
That is a rug. I am not Oriental. I am Asian. I am not. Stop calling us Oriental. We are not Oriental. You know, we don't eat cat. We don't eat dog. I don't. I've never tried it. I swear. I have 2 big, beautiful dogs. I would never even think about it.
Oh, her dogs are amazing. They are. My little boyfriend.
Stereotypes are fun. You know, we like to take pictures for camera people. That's a definite.
Are you serious?
Oh my God. Yeah. When my family first came here from Vietnam, we were up in not in Highland Park and over in the parks, you know, and I grew up as an American. So with my whole family, we were there taking picture after picture after, we like to take pictures.
We like to take, I mean, there's certain things that is.
Some stereotypes are true. We eat rice, a lot of rice.
Right.
I eat white rice, you know, all the time with everything. It goes with everything.
And we have potato salad and greens.
You know,
mac and cheese.
Our food is very similar. No, the food is like you guys have chitlins. We eat that stuff, but we don't call it that, and it looks different. And I don't eat it, but we're a poor country,
right?
You know, so there is no waste to any of the pig. You know, we're going to figure out. You know, I've walked in and seen my mother eating a chicken heart.
Yeah.
With lemon and pepper. And
I'm like, you the gizzards and stuff when you have the turkey.
I like the gizzards.
I don't eat that. My mom's eating cow tongue. I've seen her.
Yeah, I can't get into that. No. I just don't like the way the whole.
No, thank you.
Anything else we need to know?
No. Try Vietnamese food. It's great. Yeah. Have a bowl pho.
What did we have that you brought in? You had rice and you had eggs or something. What was it that you brought?
That was just a basic. It was just rice and eggs with this stuff called nuk mum. That's just something I brought for you. Nuk mum. It's like a sauce. Yeah. Yeah. But it's pho. That is like the traditional Vietnamese dish. Spelled P-H-O. There's a lot of little Vietnamese restaurants in the city. You can get it.
And what can we do to support? I mean, are we talking protests? Are we talking you know, because you even have people who are upset, like, well, what about Black Lives Matter? Like you said
just
before.
Have conversation. To me, the most important thing is have conversation. You know, be aware of it. You know, if you see it, stop it. You know, to me, that's the best way to stop anything. You know, if you see it, stop it. If you see somebody being a racist, you say something. You overhear somebody saying something foul, you say something. It starts with each person, I guess. You know,
if we start narrowing it down to groups, taking up for this group, taking up for this group,
right?
It needs to go. It's broader than that. Take up for this person. Take care of that person. Make sure that one's okay.
If you hear it, say something. You know, I work in a restaurant, and sometimes I hear people make comments about the line folks who are Mexican, and I look at them like, "Yo, that's not cool. Don't say that in front of me. You know, they're my people too. Don't say nothing about them." So you know, and it's never, you know, everybody knows who those people are, but at the end of the day, correct them. You know, if you hear it, say something. It's not okay.
Right, right.
Kim, thank you so much.
Suge Avery in there.
Yeah.
Color purple. He said, I put a little Sugar Avery in his water.
Sugar Avery P. Sugar Avery P.
I'm just saying.
If you're going to quote it, honey, quote it right.
I ain't want to say all that.
Right.
Yeah, you say that again, you're going to have a little
Sugar Avery P in there. All right. Kim, thank you so much for being on the show. We appreciate it. Hopefully we answered, some questions. If there was, you'll have to find us on social media, and that way you can find Kim on there. She's very vocal about her feelings. If she wants you to know something, trust me, she will let you know.
I will cuss you out.
Your feelings,
she will cuss you out.
A lot of people have blocked me during this election, but I'm okay with that. I've lost a lot of friends this election.
But are they really friends?
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
Exactly.
All right, Jer, how can they find past episodes before the Urban Media Today Talk Sports takes over?
Yes. So to listen to past episodes of the Hey Girl Hey podcast, we are on Apple Podcast, Spotify. I was gonna say, what is that?
I thought she was getting undressed or something. Go ahead. Spotify.
Spotify, Podbean, TuneIn, Live 365, SoundCloud, Google Podcast, YouTube, Anchor FM, and UrbanMediaToday.com.
Jerry she'd be like, we just everywhere, child. I don't know. Just
everywhere.
We are everywhere. All right, LaShawn.
And we really are. If you want to reach us via email, you can reach us at the Hey Girl Hey podcast at gmail.com. On social media, you can reach us on Twitter at Hey Girl, Girl Hey 2018, and on Facebook, the Hey Girl Hey podcast, and on Instagram, Hey Girl Hey podcast 2018. Mm-hmm. And then you can give us a call at 412-709-6130.
Thank you. I am your radio. I think that is it. I think you gave everything.
Yeah.
We've also been added to Radio Public, Overcast, Pocket Cast, and Breaker. So just in case, I don't know if you listen to it or not, but either way, you can find us. Just follow the hashtag, the Hey Girl Hey podcast. I'm the radio chick, Kiki Brown.
And I am the chatter chick, LaShawn.
And I'm y'all millennial chick, Jerry Tipton.
AKA Cecily Tyson on red carpet.
Ebony.
All right, we gotta give Kim a chick name. What you got?
Kim, you gotta be a chick. I don't know, Kim.
Kim, you got a chick name?
She's a cool chick.
You can call me the China girl.
But it gotta be chick though.
China chick?
The China
chick. The China chick?
I'm being funny.
But you're not from China.
Yeah.
I'm not. No, I don't know.
Asian? Asian chick.
Oh, that sounds like a porno.
Not good. Didn't sound good, yeah.
I know.
Like a porno.
China chick went better.
You're Kim chick. You're Kim chick.
Kim chick.
Kim chick.
Got her Kim chick.
Yes. I love
that
Kim
doesn't
chick.
Sound good. We'll have to figure out a name for Kim.
Yes.
We'll have to figure out a name for Kim. All right, it's the Hey Girl Hey podcast.
She's super cool, so it's a cool chick.
Super cool chick.
Super cool chick.
Super cool chick. There you go.
Thank you.
Won't he do it? He'll find you a chick name in a minute.
Okay.
It's the Hey Girl Hey podcast.
I had fun.